What's going on, everybody? This is Captain Obvious. You guys are the 11 crew, and here's another 10 things that I would love added to vanilla Minecraft to make it great again. Alright guys, really quick, please remember to drop me a like if you do like this video. It really helps out the channel a lot. Comments are great, but I really like likes as well. So, yeah. Alright guys, first up, pumpkins. Pumpkins should definitely be dispensed from dispensers. I'm fairly positive that was a thing before, because I kind of remember seeing videos where guys would have like dispensers lined up and make a whole bunch of iron golems and snow golems and stuff at once. But they need to do that again, because with the new carved pumpkins, it would make it much easier to carve them if they were attached to dispensers. Now I made this awesome semi-automatic carving station, which is cool, but you have to do a lot of switching back and forth, and you know, it gets a little tedious after a while, so it'll be a whole lot faster with dispensers. Also, while we're on pumpkins, carving a pumpkin several times should produce different faces, okay, like creeper faces, for example, stuff like that. I think that we need them. It would make Halloween time a lot more fun in Minecraft for sure. Now, I know they have it as a mod, but again, this needs to be vanilla. And also, again, we're on pumpkins. We should be able to enchant pumpkins and then create golems that have those enchantments on them. That'd be kind of cool. A little OP maybe, but kind of cool. Number 2, since turtles were introduced into the game, okay, there's a new breeding mechanic, right? That should be implemented for parrots. And we can also have a new block, which is a parrot burrow. Crafting recipe, TBD. I have not decided that yet. But the parrots can be bred with seeds, and then within a 16 by 16 by 16 block radius of this block, they would actually fly over to the block and lay anywhere from 1 to 4 eggs, and then the parrot would stay on top of that block and the eggs until they hatched. I think that'd be kind of cool. Now, obviously, you could kill them and steal the eggs, but the natural thing would be for them to just sit there and stay on top of it. Could be cool. I don't know if it could be done. I just think it's worth a shot. It seems kind of fun. Number 3, this should have been in the game a long time ago. There's really not that much to be said. Corner variance to all rails needs to be a thing. Period. It just does. They need to happen. I want it really badly. They need to be done. Also, I would like a new type of rail called this stutter rail. And what that's going to do is it would flicker without having to adjust the redstone. Right, so you could just place it next to a powered rail, and it would stay connected, share the same redstone line, so you wouldn't have to play around with the redstone and make it, pulse it that way. It would just use a solid torch, but the rail itself would flicker. And that would be amazing for things like slowing down farming, for example, if in certain sections, if you wanted to slow down a little bit to get more, or mini games, right? You could do it for mini games. That'd be kind of fun. Number 4, alternate treasure chest item called Wrath of the Sea. Okay, we already have Heart of the Sea, but Wrath of the Sea. So when you first get it, it's broken. Okay, and you need to find 2 of them to kind of fix it and activate it. And once you put them together, you activate it. I guess you could activate it the same as Heart of the Sea, only you would do it on land. Same configuration, you just don't need water. And what it would do once it's activated, it would turn the weather into a thunderstorm wherever you are in the world. Okay, for 8 minutes. Now, why would this be important? Well, with the new enchantments, right? Channeling, Riptide, you can use those to their full potential on land. I just think it'd be fun. We don't really have anything other than commands or being creative to kind of control the weather, and I think that would be kind of cool. And once you use it, it would be done. It's a one-time use. So once the weather is controlled, once the weather is done, it just explodes. Doesn't cause it, or it could cause damage, I guess, too. But it's done. I think it could be kind of fun. Number 5, new underground item, oil. This is something I've thought about actually for a while, then I had seen it somewhere, I can't remember where. And it should flow like water, but it cannot be made into an infinite water source. Okay, so it should be in between lava and water. So not quite as quick as water, but not as slow as lava. Okay, and 1 bucket of oil can smelt, let's say, 500 items. So, and it could also be lit on fire forever like netherrack. And also, you can place it inside a cauldron and drop certain items in it that can be lit on fire. Obviously, I don't know actually how that works. If you light something on fire, let's say with Oh my goodness, what is that called? The thing you use to light the portal. Flint and steel. If you light something on, does that actually change the state of the item? I don't know how that works. But anyway, you should be able to drop certain items in and then light them on fire. So throw them on the ground and actually light them after that. I think that would be kind of cool. And yeah, you could have like a complete suit of armor that's just you're on fire, but you're not actually on fire. I don't know. It could be OP, but that's just one of. But the other ones, the smelting and stuff like that, I think that could be kind of cool. And it would be obviously in caves, so you'd find it. Number 6. Now again, all of this I'm talking about is for the Bedrock Edition. I don't play Java, and I don't know really all the ways that Java is different. But the one thing that I know for certain is that they have way more mobs. There's no cap. Bedrock, we have a cap. So, which means our mob farms are not OP. We can't get XP as quickly as you guys can on Java. Yes, there are certain farms like gold farms and Enderman farm where you can do that, but Java can do that with regular mob farms too. We can't. So to counteract this is Bedrock, like I said. We should gain a very, very small amount of XP whenever a day passes. It could be equivalent to 1 orb from killing a passive mob like a cow. Just something to combat the cap. Also, maybe get a bonus XP for a certain amount of mobs that you killed, or going a long period of time without dying if mobs are in your area. So maybe if a mob is within a radius of you, of a certain radius of you, the game will just, in the background, will just be keeping track of it. And after a very long period of time, you will get a very, very small amount of XP. I'm not talking about like going, AFK overnight and waking up and you're like level 1,000. I mean, like, let's say starting from 0, you go AFK for like 8 hours overnight, you'd wake up and be on like level 4 or 5. Like nothing crazy. Just enough that like if you were just running around killing a few passive mobs here and there, you'd gain XP. I think it's worth it. It's one of the issues I've run into. I've played on Bedrock now for a very, very, very long time. From day one, a lot more than a lot of people have. And it's one of the biggest issues I have. Is the ability to gain XP as quickly. So, just something to consider. Number 7, flower pots should be able to connect together up to a 2x2 pattern to form planters. Okay, so each planter can hold up to 8 plants in them. The smaller one, the 2x1, would be able to hold 4, and obviously the bigger one would hold the 8. And I think they'd be fantastic decorations for like gardens or parks, things like that. Something to consider. I just think it's pretty cool. Number 8, the observer repeater. Now, if you're not a redstoner, this is not going to mean much to you, but I absolutely would love the ability to be able to tell an observer how many updates until it sends a signal. Right? So, for example, with a piston, it would only detect the second update. So it's going to push out and then retract. And on that retract, that is when it would send the signal. Right? And that's if you have like the second state selected. That's why I said like a repeater. It could have like little ticks that you have to press or move. One, normal would just be the one. Just have it all the way down. Then the second, third, up to a fourth. So what that means is, let's say you have a circuit, right? Let's say you have a redstone circuit where stuff is constantly going through it. So, like a comparator that's coming out of a hopper. Okay, every time an item goes through it, in the system, obviously it's going to pulse. If you had an observer there, a regular one, oh my goodness, you're going to get one on the pulse and on the non-pulse. So with this one, it would be after every 4, up to 4. So after every 4th pulse. And you can attach them together, okay, from observer. So let's say you had an observer in front of a comparator that's set to 4. That means that comparator can go on, off before it actually has a pulse. But if you have another observer connected to that observer that's set on 4, it's going to take it stacks. You know what I mean? So it's multiplication. So basically, it's going to be on, off. That observer goes once, but there's observer observing that, so it's not going to go. Then on, off. Observer goes again. So when that observer gets to the 4th time, then that other observer will go off. So you can literally stagger these circuits. I think it would, I already have like 50 things I could build with it. It's amazing what you can do with that. You could do it for mini games. You could do it for timers. the possibilities with that would be endless, and I think that would be such a unique item to add to the game. We really haven't had, besides the Observer, we really haven't had anything like too instrumental in the redstone community, and we've always had bud switches before that, so we were always able to get we don't really have anything like this because it's not a repeater. A repeater will just delay the signal. I'm talking about it's not even going to count the signal until it gets to that fourth one. So I don't know. I desperately want it. Maybe none of you do, but I want it. Number 9, new enchantment for a bow. This is really fun. Bounce. Okay, so depending on the level of the enchantment, that's how many arrows can bounce off of objects that many times. So you have a bounce 4, right? That means it could hit a wall 1, 2, 3, 4, bounce back and forth. Now, mobs and players obviously would be excluded from the bounce effect, but it could make for some really unique and very funny traps. Is it OP? I don't know. Anything that you seem to add that people don't like seems to be too OP, so I'll leave it up to you. I don't think it's OP at all. I never use arrows in the game for anything, really, and I just think it would be another way to create some fun redstone contraptions with it. Number 10, the last one, 2 new light items, the dark torch and a cave helmet. So the dark torch would be squid ink and a torch together. It would have a really funky black flame that actually emits 0 light, but would still prevent mobs from spawning the same as a torch does, and also have the exact same radius effect of a torch. And it would be much better for like darker themed builds where light doesn't make much sense, but mobs don't either. So like if you have, let's say you have a cellar, let's say you have like a basement of a house, and you don't really feel like hooking up a redstone lamp, and a lot of people have that in their house. You want to create like a dark basement. There's no reason for mobs to be in there. Technically, you're inside of a house, so mobs wouldn't be able to, shouldn't be in there anyway. But this is Minecraft, and mobs spawn in there, so it'd be kind of cool to be able to put torches down, and you can actually do the same effect as you can now with regular torches. You put them under transparent blocks such as stairs or slabs or something, and you get the effect without having to see anything. So it's kind of cool. The second thing, the cave helmet, would be an iron helmet mixed with a torch that you can wear, and it shines light all around you. Now, it would be the same as a torch, like the same exact thing where every time you walk, it would have the same radius. It'd be useful for seeing in the dark without having to place torches everywhere. And I guess it would be really fun in adventure maps more than when you're actually going out mining so much, because mobs would still be able to spawn around you because you're not just putting torches everywhere. But in adventure maps, let's say you want somebody to find something, or it could work underwater too. It could highlight a certain area. So if you want people to, go out and find something in an adventure map, you can kind of do that. And you can also come up with other ideas, I'm sure, for it. But that's all I got, guys. That's it. Let me know what you thought of anything, or add your own suggestions for the next video in the comments. And that's going to do it for me. Until next time, Captain Ibis out. Peace.